now's the time, but how should I do it? How should I start developing and implementing my low touch strategy? So we're going to share tips here, very, very practical. We're going to get our hands dirty and go like 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 9 or 10. One is start segmenting your customers. Like get your customer base on a spreadsheet and go, okay, which ones should I serve in a high touch model, and which ones are candidates for my low touch model. And there's a number of different criteria you can use. I know that Tom's got strong views on that, so I'll let you comment that one. The most sort of well-rounded metric we use to figure out which customers should go high or low touch is usually like the ACV or the ARR, meaning how much money is this customer contributing to my revenues. And like the higher the number, the higher the high touch strategy. And yet that's not quite true, Tom.
Well, what we often see with customers is that when your segmentation is purely based on financial criteria, that gets tricky. Okay, no, and let me explain why. The thing is, if there is no correlation between how much money a customer spends with you and the way that customer is using the product. And yet, the way the customer is using the product is very important in the low touch strategy on how you will be touching the customer and what you will be telling the customer, right? So it is good that you mention with your criteria maturity, because maturity is one of those criteria that does take into account at what level your customer is. So it is important when you start making cohorts or when you start segmenting your customers that you bear in mind at what level is my customer and how can I serve my customer best in the low touch strategy. Because if you are sending out emails or messages to your customer or chat messages to your customer that make no sense, if you're telling them how to create a new customer but they don't create new customers, or they have been creating customers for 2 years now, then it gets irrelevant, and then your customer in the end will have a bad customer experience and they will churn. So make sure you bear that in mind, not just purely financial segmentation.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the whole point of item 2 on the slide. It's like stay customer centric. First off, you can ask your customers how they want to be served. I mean, you're welcome to just like maybe publish a poll or ask them, what would you like? How would you like me to interact with you? Like, would you like me to reach out by email? Would you like to be invited to collective sessions, whatever shape or form? And so from that, you can like figure out which customers are mature for a low touch strategy and which ones need to like be served in a high touch way.
And don't hide your telephone number.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but what I mean by that is make sure that when you let your customer decide how they want to get in touch with you, that there's always a way they can get in touch with you when they need it. And that could be your telephone number, that could be chat, whatever. But nothing is more frustrating when you need help and you can't reach anyone because there is nothing to find on the website or on your community. So don't hide your phone number. That's how I call it.
Yeah. And actually setting up a community or a forum is probably a good way to always making sure there's an open door somewhere and materials.
I fully agree. Yeah, I fully agree.
Cool. Creating cohorts. Like, so once you figured out, okay, this segment should be low touch, like within your low touch segment, that's not the end of your segmentation. You need to, because you'll be serving these customers in a collective way, you need to start creating groups within your low touch segment. And we call them cohorts. And there's a number of different criteria that you can use. Could be just their sign up date, like anyone who signed up in the last months joins the September cohort, and these guys will be nurtured all as a group Maybe that sign up date is not relevant. Maybe you should be sticking to the product suite that your customers are using, or maybe the clear objectives that they ironed out when they signed up for your product, saying, "Okay, I'm using this tool or this software because I want to achieve this, this, and that." And so you can group them using these pieces of information. Empower your low touch customers. Like, don't assume that you be leading the show and your customers will just like follow suit. You need to like make sure they're active, and so be very open and transparent as to which road you're going to lead them down. So specifically, yeah, your September cohort, you've decided to go, okay, I want to onboard them as a group, my September signups. Okay, be very upfront and tell them, thanks for signing up. You'll be joining an exciting group of like-minded professionals who started using the product at the same time. And here's the plan. You'll be joining a group onboarding session. I'll be sharing materials. I'll be opening a group discussion forum for you guys to talk to each other. Just be very transparent, whatever your CSM activities, be upfront with your customers so they know where they're headed.
Yeah.
And also, like, give them, when we say empower your customers, like, give them enough autonomy. If they want to if they want to nurture themselves at their own pace, if they want to educate themselves, they want to learn about your product quicker than the guy next door, give them enough self-service power to access your resources. And so make sure there's a place somewhere that probably belongs in your community if you're equipped with a community platform. If not, we need to talk. And there will be a time during this presentation where we'll be pushing Melting Spot and customer cross services. But make sure that you host all your content somewhere where your customers can find it. A few more tips as you start rolling out your low touch CS strategy. Like, that's obvious, but low touch does not mean no touch. Keep touching your customers. So it doesn't, simply because you're serving your customers as a group, or you've standardized your service model, doesn't mean that you can't talk one-on-one with your customers. Create discussion channels, create a communication channel. Maybe do one-to-many push communications and use a separate channel for that, because your customer inboxes are swamped.
Yep.
And we know this for sure because we know like 97% of respondents to our State of the CSM Nation survey responded that emails were not responded to by their customers. So stop using emails to provide content, to educate. Use like other channels, but make sure you talk to these customers.
Yeah. And make sure you add value, because the worst thing you can do is have like an automated scenario where you basically don't take into account where the customer is, and where you basically don't add any value when you touch the customer. We often get the question, Tom, how often should we touch the customer? And I always say there is no silver bullet for that. I mean, there is no golden number. But when you touch the customer, make sure it's a VAT, and VAT in this case is not value added taxes, it's value added touch point. Make sure when you touch the customer that you add value. And then having an interactive platform is awesome, because if the customer reacts and he wants more information, you can directly provide it. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind, value added touch point.
Like we just mentioned, workflows and automations. Low touch doesn't mean no touch, and it doesn't mean like manual work as well. You're very welcome to set up workflows and automated tasks. Just make sure that these tasks, that the events that will trigger these automations are meaningful, and they can probably come from two different sources. One being the community itself, like if your customers start engaging with other customers, they start reaching out to your CSM on your platform, it's probably it probably means they're engaged and they're in a good spot. If they stop engaging, maybe now's the time to re-engage them with a personalized email or a phone call. And the second source is your product itself. Make sure that your product activation metrics are in place, and that if at any point in time the metrics go south, you have an automated task that pops up saying, okay, this low touch customer is going down, so reach out to them. Okay. Another tip is we realize that customer success professionals use an average of 12 different tools to engage their customers. So we can start. The list is long, but their webinar solution, their email, obviously, their email routing system, their knowledge
document
base.
management system, whatever.
Sorry?
The document management system, whatever they have.
Yeah. So it's a long list. You might cope very well with a multitude of tools, but your customers will not. So for the sake of your customers, please stop moving them from one place to the other. Like the moment they sign up to your product or service, they know where home should be, and this home is one and only. And this can be your product if you're able to embed community features inside your product, and that's probably the end game.
Yeah, that's
can
the
be
best.
a separate tool, but just one tool, please. Yeah, go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
No, I was just saying having it in product is actually the best solution, because your customer is working in your product, has an issue, has a question, whatever. Well, from within that product, getting everything at your fingertips is the best customer experience.
Okay, so make a resources more interactive, meaning your resources don't have to be boring. There's a number of more interactive resources that your customers will like more. Could be invite your members to a workshop, your customers, sorry, to a workshop. Could be let them talk to other professionals, like-minded professionals in a particular group. Could be start engaging a conversation with your CSM, but via chat messaging. There's a number of ways you can make them more make them contribute to the relationship, and avoid very one-way type of content. So playbooks are great, newsletters are great, but there should be more to your customer success service model than that. Reassure your customers. You have internal and external experts inside your team. Make sure that these experts are right next to your customers. They can provide a helpful hand. And so your customers are not alone. At any point in time, they can reach out, ask a question, and get an answer to their questions. If you have a forum, most SaaS companies have a forum where their customers can ask questions and browse answers. You should invite some of those experts or ambassadors or advocates to join this forum, and identify these experts as such, so your customers know that they can. Let's say you're selling an invoicing software. Invite a few experts, accountants, CFOs, so your customers know they can ask a question to these people and get an answer.
Yeah.
This adds tremendous value to your service model.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing. It's exactly the same in the B2C world, right? If you want to book a hotel, what are you going to do? You're gonna look for references. You're going to look for peers that are giving a review on the hotel, and only when those reviews are good, you will book the hotel. I mean, it's exactly the same thing.
And our final tips are as follows: monitor your low-touch customer activities. Know which activities work, which activities don't work. So don't just go, okay, I think I'm going to try webinars this month, and not follow up on how many people were invited, how many joined, how long they stayed. Same with forums. If you start a forum, or if you allow your customers to reach out to other customers one-on-one with an in-house internal messaging system, track messages exchanged on the platform. See if it's working. So don't roll out anything that you can't measure, to like build, measure, and learn from these activities. And your whatever platform you're using to roll out your customer community, this platform should provide all these insights, okay, in just one like quick one pager with all this information. And finally, coach your team. If you're fortunate to have like great CSMs in your team, like train them, like equip them with the best tools, and train them, learn them how to use these tools, so like they get comfortable. The number one challenge of customer success junior professionals is I'm not comfortable with my tool set. So make them feel comfortable, make sure they know how to use the tool and use it properly, and you'll make their lives a lot easier.
Especially if you're coming from a 100% high touch strategy, and
Yeah.
the team now has to apply a low touch strategy for a number of customers in your customer base. It is very important that you coach them, because a low touch strategy is completely different from a high touch one. So
Yeah.
you will have to follow up on them, listen to them, guide them where needed. Because if you will be applying your low touch strategy the way you were doing your high touch, it's not going to work, and they will be frustrated.